Against the Gods, Prologue. On mythical Abode Mountain, Cloud's End's Cliff was the deadliest of the 4 deadly regions on Azure Cloud Continent. Cloud's End Cliff was often called the Death God's Graveyard. During the countless years, people who have fallen off this cliff was too many to count. None had survived, including 3 Heavenly King-ranked experts with overwhelming might. At the moment, on the edge of this cliff, a black-haired, black-eyed youth leaned against the side of a rock that measured 2 people in height. There was blood everywhere on top of his black clothing, with many open wounds on his person. He was on the rock for just a few breaths' worth of time, yet a pool of blood was already beneath his feet. His chest heaved, and it could be said that the pace at which he breathed was heavy enough to cause fear in a person. On his entire body, every one of his muscles trembled slightly, indicating his exhaustion and loss of strength. If it were not for this giant rock, he probably would not even be able to stand on his own. However, both of his eyes were cold and calm like 2 cold blades, shining with the ferocity of wolves. The edge of his mouth sneered with extreme disdain. In front of him stood a dark crowd of people that blocked all of his escape routes. "Yun Chi, you're cornered. If you obey us and hand over the sky poison pearl, perhaps we may allow you to live. Today we're going to enforce justice on the behalf of heaven to get rid of this scourge. If you hurry up and quickly surrender this sky poison pearl, we can let you die a happy death, or you will taste the pain of 1,000 blades in your heart. Yun Chi, stop being so stubborn. Your only way out is to hand over the sky poison pearl. You're unworthy of such a holy object." Waves of roars came from the crowd, with everyone there shouting words like justice and righteousness. If anyone from the Azure Cloud Continent passed by, they would be stunned by the scene. This dark crowd of people consisted of the strongest clans of the Azure Cloud Continent. The leaders of the clans were all present, and some of the forgotten old members were there as well. It was not too far-fetched to say that if one picked anyone out from this crowd, he was someone who can shake any region. Now they were all gathered for this youth who had been pushed to the edge of a cliff, specifically for the sky poison pearl in his hand, the number 1 holy object of the Azure Cloud Continent. While slowly approaching, the crowd shouted with threatening menace. When the sky poison pearl finally showed up again, they were faced with irresistible treasure once more. After hunting for 3 full days, they could not wait to harvest the fruits of their labor. "You guys want this sky poison pearl?" Yun Chi laughed coldly. As he slowly raised his right hand, a jade-green ball with dim radiance appeared in his hand. The moment this pearl glowed, everyone stopped in their tracks. Staring tightly at the green pearl, their eyes shone with greed. To Yun Chi, these people, who were strong enough to scare the world, looked filthy and sly. He slowly raised his eyes. Although cornered, his pupils shone with arrogance and mockery. Clear hatred was deep within his eyes. "My master spent his life trying to save the world. He saved countless people seeking neither benefit nor fame. But because of this sky-poisoned pearl, you guys from the so-called justice sects killed my master 7 years ago. I hate myself for being so useless. That I didn't finish all of you dog shit justice sects off in those 7 years. Every word of his contained his deep-seated hatred. Although it had been 7 years, just thinking about the death of his master still made bloody tears stream down the edges of his eyes. Yun Chi did not know who his parents were, for when his master found him, it seemed he was only a few days old. It was deep in the springtime when his master picked up Yun Chi. The clouds were scattered, the wind was light, and the mountains spiritual, and the water crystal clear. He named the child Yun Chi in the hopes that his heart would be pure as the clouds and clear as water, so that when he grew up, he would inherit his craft as a healer to rescue the dying and cure the injured with a heart void of corruption. No matter how serious the disease or trauma, Master could clear them all. This was due to the sky poison pearl hidden within his body. The 2 words, sky poison, meant this pearl was highly toxic, but medicine and poison were of the same origin. Master never used its poison. He only used alchemy to extract, melt, and in the end produce holy medicines to save millions of lives. He taught all his medical skills to Yun Chi thoroughly, but 7 years ago, word of his sky poison pearl was spread. He gave it to Yun Chi and told him to escape. Shortly afterwards, he died at the hands of the major sects. When news of his master's death reached Yun Chi, he cried for 3 days and 3 nights. The root of his hatred was firmly planted inside his heart, and he no longer practiced the medicinal arts. Instead, he absorbed poison from the pearl. Revenge became his only belief. After 7 years, he mastered the poison and bared the fangs of revenge. In less than 10 days, the poison spread not only thousands of miles, killing countless people, but also panic and horror throughout the azure cloud continent. It attracted the strong and mighty, for they were fascinated by this treasure. This started the hunt of Xiao Che, in order to gain the sky poison pearl, the situation right now. He glared at everyone in his field of vision with hatred in his eyes and laughed coldly. As soon as the laughter reached the level of ice, he roared, "You sons of bitches, you want my sky poison pearl? You are all daydreaming." After making this deep proclamation, Xiao Che suddenly raised his hand and threw the sky poison pearl in his mouth. He pushed the pearl down his throat and instantly it rushed straight into his stomach. What are you doing? He actually swallowed the sky poison pearl. Xiao Che, do you want to die that badly? It's fine, no big deal. We'll take him and take the pearl. The sky poison pearl entered his body, but the poison did not spread out in his body and kill him like they thought it would. A faint green light emitted from the surface of his body. Kill him now! Otherwise the sky poison pearl may change inside his body. That would be a huge problem. Roaring, a dozen people in the front row went for Xiao Che at the same time. Looking at the figures of the people he wanted to destroy, Xiao Che began to laugh. His laughter was weak and dry, but still very arrogant. I don't have the ability to kill you guys, but don't think that you can kill me. You pieces of trash are not worthy of this sky poison pearl, and even more unworthy of killing me. If I die, I would die by my own hands. Ha 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 ha! After laughing, Xiao Che used every last bit of his strength to jump backwards. Stop him! Several hands reached out to Xiao Che after realizing his intent, but could not even grasp half his shadow. They could only watch as his body fell free down into the valley. Cloud's End Cliff. It is very suitable for my, Xiao Che's, grave. There is nothing to hold me back, for I no longer have ties to this world. Unfortunately, I could not avenge my master, nor find my biological parents. Xiao Che gently held the silver pendant in front of his chest. It was the only thing he had on him when his master found him. The wind screamed past his ears as he slowly closed his eyes and let his body plunge deep into the seemingly endless dark abyss.